Yeah, I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they bout to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat. Yo, grew my hair and took the grill out. Think it's time to put it back in. Trying to get into that big house, turn the crib into the mansion. Needed something with that big bounce. You know I had to hit Jackson. Aaron Rodgers with the quick routes. How with the gang we packing? We on the field at Lambo. Mike Peel in a Lambo. Running drills in my camo. They know what the M stand for. Still got fam in Hawaii, yeah. Couple fans in the lobby, yeah. Couple grand in my pocket, yeah. Couple grams of wasabi, yeah. Eye it up, no glasses. Light it up, no matches. Wife it up, no ratchets. Might turn my wife to an actress. And we gon' make a movie, no Kim K. Give a fuck about what your friends say. I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they bout to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
I'm just sticking to the code, I keep it so G. She asked me what I smoke, I'm smoking OG. I don't fool with too many, only catch me 4 deep. Gotta stay away from snakes, swear these people so creep. I've been grinding for a minute, many labels so sleep. These rappers drop a song, be hot for about a week. I put Gucci on my toes, I keep some cold feet. I ain't paying for no hoes, you niggas know me. I'm about to body the beat. I keep me a hottie with me. She wanna for a fee. Give me that for free. Keep me some money on me. Smoking the gas key. You with me, sheesh. Benito, Chief Keef.
I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they bout to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
Yeah, head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test, now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, so nobody's into me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in mine, yeah. Phone started jumping, what a day. Swear to God I need it, now I can't afford to wait. I just had a fan hit me up from Kuwait. Told him this would happen and we not a minute late. Seen them down bad, now they tryna hate. Same ones try to hit me for the raise. Got a meal, now they coming with a blaze. Check the numbers, fam, I swear I'm getting paid. I'm a Don just like the Perrier. It's one time when I'm looking at a face. On the low like I'm pushing up the bass. Told him come down and I'll meet him at a gate. Got a check and I bought myself a place. They get some money and they blow it on bait. I don't flex, but I'm pushing all the weight. Told them all, I swear I got it's what it takes. Phone started jumping, what a day. Swear to God I need it, now I can't afford to wait. I just had a fan hit me up from Kuwait. Told him this would happen and we not a minute late.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, at the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, at the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go. On the road, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Long time no see, Mafia. It's been just a couple of minutes, but what is going on? Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you guys for hanging out with us here on the charts while we try to figure out what Bitcoin's next move is. And if you guys tuned into the stream earlier today for FOMC, we low-key were calling that thing in real time. So, as we are getting a little bit of a bounce here from that 786 that we were looking at, guys, are we going to be able to get a strong bounce, or are we still looking for those lower highs and lower lows? We all know that we have the money flow coming out on some very key time frames. We also have some high time frame red dots that could indicate a little bit more of a correction here. So as always, I'm going to show you guys the bullish case, the bearish case, and then the specific case that I'm putting my money on, so you guys can have an idea of how I'm treating my trading plan and where I'm looking for very, very, very key levels to get a nice reaction from. So shout out to the Mafia. Thank you guys for tuning in for the second time today. I appreciate every single one of you guys for the from the bottom of my heart. Shout out to Carlos, said pine code for the win. Let's go. Shout out to the indicators out there. Let's see. Shout out to David. What is going on? We got the other TJ in the chat throwing up the, what is this even? I don't know. What do you call that hand? But shout out to you, man. What is going on? We got CK in the chat. We got JP, Yo Nirvana, Jesse, our like police guys. Don't forget to smash that like button. Every 100 likes we get gives you guys some extra chances to win some free crypto. If we get 1,000 likes on tonight's live stream, we're going to be giving away $200 in Solana. So stick around and smash that like button. We don't care what you do, guys. Just smash it. If you hit it more than once, make sure you hit it an odd amount of times. But yeah, let us give away some money. Let us give away some Solana here. But Shout out to everybody in the chat. Let's see. King of Bitcoin, long time no see. What is going on? Al Jr. said, Frankie, I can't listen to the intro track on Spotify anymore without Phoebe at the end. Can we change that track, please? Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Much love to Phoebe too. Shout out to Phoebe. If you guys don't know who Phoebe is. It is my pet imaginary goat. But yeah, we'll have to get Phoebe a feature on the official track here. But we got Borpato in the chat. Vegas Club, what is going on, man? Welcome in. Drop some Drake memes in the chat, bro. Those always crack me up. But let's see. Without further ado, guys, we got Gunslinger in the chat. Said load the money gun up with hundos. Say less. We got the Bing Bong Cannon here. Shout out to Dave Digital. But we got a lot to look at here, guys, as we are getting the bounce from local levels. I'll load this up in a second. I can't get it open. But without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. And hopefully we can call these moves like we did earlier today. Let's get into it. Thought I hit the button. Didn't hit it. There we go. All right, let's see. Everyone too bearish. I like to go against the grain LFG. Shout out to BJK. I can't hate on that, bro. I can't hate on that. I like that mentality. But the one thing here, I do like to go against the herd as well. However, we do have the charts kind of agreeing with the herd here. So they're not going to be wrong 100% of the time. But hey, more often than not, the herd is wrong, but they do get it right once in a while. But as we look here, guys, let me just hide some of this stuff real quick. I'm going to get rid of this golden pocket. So obviously, guys, earlier today, it was crazy. I highly recommend, guys, if you didn't watch the live stream, and this is not me trying to get a couple of extra views, right? Majority of the views are on that live stream, but I highly recommend for your benefit, if you are learning how to do TA or you want to learn how to trade, watch the earlier live stream because we literally covered exactly what the charts were showing us, and then we literally saw it play out in real time. We even called some like local 1-minute moves. We called the move on Ethereum, starting to move down towards that POC. We're going to take a look at the altcoins as well tonight, guys. But as we take a look here, right, we did come down. We had that golden pocket sitting here just below the value area low, and this was not an area where I was interested in a long position, and that actually wound up playing out very nicely because if you took the long here, you would have instantly gotten wrecked. But we did have that honorable mention 786 sitting right down here at about $116,000, right? And we kind of just like SFP'd that here on the 10-minute. Let's check the 15-minute. Yeah, we kind of just like SFP'd this 786, and we are getting a little bit of a retracement to the upside. But as you guys know, earlier on the live stream, we were just talking about how we had specifically, not just the 4-hour money flow, but specifically, we were looking at that 4-hour money flow, talking about how, hey, if we want this range to break to the upside, right, we literally want the opposite of what is happening on money flow here. We want a red wave crossing into the green, and we literally have the opposite here. We have the green wave coming down, looking to cross over into the red, and we actually have just gotten that 4-hour money flow crossover. And I will go over the bullish case as well, guys. As always, there is no guarantee just because the charts are pointing down. We obviously got that right this morning, but this does not guarantee that you have to get that bigger retracement. We're going to look at those bearish puzzle pieces that all are kind of confluent looking for that move down. But I will also talk about a potential opportunity to get another move to the upside, although that is the less probable situation based off the TA. We all know that it is not impossible. We talked about that earlier as well. We have to be prepared in both directions. But at the end of the day, we did slit that value area low. We did push into that 786, and we are attempting to reclaim $117,000. But with money flow crossing into the red here, guys, maybe we get a fake out. That would be very, very nice. But, overall, it's not just the 4-hour. We obviously have the 3-hour money flow coming out. Take a look at some of the lower time frames. 2-hour money flow also trying to come out. 1-hour money flow is in the red. And then we also have some higher time frame red dots printing, right? Well, we have the 6-day red dot. Let me hide the TA, right? We have the 6-day red dot obviously confirmed. Weekly red dot is looking to print very, very soon. We obviously do have the weekly bearish divergence with the higher highs on price action, lower highs on our momentum waves. This could also point towards a little bit of a bigger correction. We had the 5-day red dot confirm, the 4-day red dot confirm, and at the end of the day here, guys, my sentiment here, someone said it in the live stream earlier, my sentiment, typically, I usually say this in a bullish case, right? I'll say I'm cautiously optimistic. Like, I think we're going to come up. The TA is pointing up, but we have to be careful of a surprise move to the downside. And recently, I've been the opposite, right? I've been like pessimistically cautiously pessimistic, right? And what I mean by that is we do have the charts potentially pointing to the downside, right? We have the daily money flow also just generally trending out here. Yes, we did get a peak up recently, but this could just end up being a little bit of a lower high. Hopefully it's a fake out, right? We just get that big green money flow wave and we get a big rip to the upside. But when we look at this, this is pointing to the downside, right? So I am cautiously pessimistic because if we are just going to get a surprise rip out of here, I do indeed think it will be a surprise. But we can't really bet on that, right? I can't really take a trade based off that information. I am holding some longs from much lower. I actually stopped. We talked about this earlier as well. Getting stopped out is part of the game. I got stopped out for a small loss on one of my scalp longs, and then I got stopped out in profit on a little bit of a bigger swing long or a bigger. I guess it turned into a swing long, but a portion of a long that I was holding, I did get stopped out in profit on that push to the downside, but I am still holding longs from much lower. So if we do get that big rip to the upside, I am covered with the long to the down from lower prices. But, when we look at money flow here, we have to take it at face value. This money flow is trending out. 4-hour money flow has crossed over into the red. It does look like it might want to try to peek back into the green here, but we'll have to keep an eye on this. But overall, guys, with the money flow coming out, with the potential weekly bearish divergence and the weekly red dot even just looking to print, we do have to anticipate a potential bigger correction as we've been looking at for weeks here. As we kind of consolidate here, are we going to go for the bigger retracement down towards $114,000 where we have our next key level of support? And if we lose that, we could potentially be coming down to those lower, kind of more scary levels at $110,000 to $112,000. And again, this would be kind of like what I would be okay with, right, for the pull to the downside before starting to shift a bit more bearish for a much bigger drop down. There is a possibility, as we've said a million times on the channel, I'm not going to cover this for that long. We could just come down, retest these highs for a higher low and a higher high like we've seen time and time again in this market. But so when we see that drop down, I like to kind of let you guys know so it's not that scary. You kind of understand what is going on, why it's happening. So you're not just like, what is going on? We're dumping. Like, at least you can understand, like, if it's a liquidation run, if we're coming down to a key level of support, or just in general, if it's a healthy pullback or not. And I would say even if we get that bigger pullback that we've been looking at, I would still consider that somewhat of a healthy correction to come back down and retest. Let me hide some of this stuff and retest these range highs sitting between $112,000 and $110,000, which is sitting on this lower volume profile. We have our blue box down there letting us know it is support. And then that real line in the sand here for me, at the end of the day, if we pull our fib from the low to the high, right, it is possible to come down and retest this golden pocket at about 108 to 107K or 107. Yeah, 107K. This is an area where you could put in a higher low. And then, that's the lowest I'm going to look, guys. And you might be saying to yourself, but Frankie, we have the 786. Can't we bounce there? And obviously that is true. That's where we're bouncing from, a local 786 right now. But at the end of the day, when we look at this, guys, it's once we lose that 786 or even lose this value area low, we are in danger of getting accepted into that macro profile, right? And then once you start getting stuck underneath that, let me hide the lower profile, right? It would be I would much prefer to bounce off the golden pocket. It would be a retest of the value area high. It would also be the POC. We have a daily naked point of control in here. We have a lot of confluence in this level of support. So I would prefer to bounce here, right? Could you come down to the 786 and send it? Potentially, but at that point, right, you're going to look to bounce, and then you're stuck under this value area high. If you can't get out of there, it could indicate a much bigger drop to the downside. So just to give you a little bit of context of like why, I'm sure that, I know that if I was learning TA or I was like tuning into a streamer trying to learn, right, I wouldn't just want to hear the key levels. I would want to understand like, why is he saying that that's the level we have to bounce on? Because, that's what's going to teach you over time and allow you to do the TA yourself on whatever asset you want to trade, right? So, again, that is why, right? If we hit the golden pocket, we have confluence. We also are above the value area high of the macro range. Sure, you can bounce off the 786, but you do have to be aware if you get stuck in here, it could indicate a much bigger drop down towards about $97,000, right? Not my base case, right? My base case would be higher lows and higher highs, but this is on the chart, right? Once we get down there, hopefully we're seeing money flow come back up on the daily, and that is in the case of if we get that bigger pullback, and the fact that we don't bounce off local support, which we do have, as you guys know, sitting at about $114,000. We have a CME gap sitting down there. Right, 114,100 is the CME gap, and then just underneath that, we do also have the 786 Fibonacci retracement. Let me see if I could pull that up. I might have deleted that by accident. There it is, right? So 786 CME gap, right? So it's really sitting right here between about 114.1 and 113.215. So, again, could we bounce off these local levels? I would say money flow is still kind of pointing to the downside, and I will cover the bullish case in a second. But, if we wind up losing 117K, we can't get accepted into the profile, I would probably be looking to fill those single prints into this next zone of support. And then, hey, this would be the best place, in my opinion, the strongest level of support to bounce from until we get down to 112 to 110K. These are very local. Could you bounce? Yes. But, it's just not the best. I don't know. It's really not the best support. But if we go a little bit more local here, I'll turn off the CME gap and we'll pull up our local range. I'll come on down to the 1 hour. Obviously, guys, when we look at this as a volume profile. And I'm going to bring up the key levels of resistance because as you know, when we've been on the previous live streams, right, we rejected the value area high. We had money flow coming out on many different time frames. Specifically for this move down, we were looking at the 30-minute, right, indicating that the trend to the downside would very likely continue. Once that 30-minute money flow crosses into the red, because we had the 8-hour red dot, it's not every money flow crossover on the 30-minute. We had this very confluent with an 8-hour red dot. That is a market cipher B 1/16th bearish setup. So once you get that crossover into the red, you are going to be anticipating lower highs and lower lows, breaking structure to the downside. Lower highs, lower lows, breaking structure to the downside. It's part of the reason why we were able to call that breakdown of this range. Now, you might say to yourself, well, Frankie, look what's happening here. We're getting back above that value area low. Doesn't that mean that we have to rotate to the POC and the value area high? Well, although this is in the cards, if we do not see money flow shape up here and start coming back up into the green, and it continues into the red, let's say that 4-hour money flow continues into the red, we could look for another lower high and lower low. And I'm going to talk about those key levels that I'm watching. But every single lower high here came in at a golden pocket 786, right? Golden pocket 786, lower high, lower low, break structure to the downside. And then same thing here. I'll just pull a new fib here, right? We go from the lower high to the lower low. We come up in here this morning, right? And we wick up into the golden pocket 786. And what happens? Lower high, lower low, break of structure to the downside. Simple Fibonacci market structure analysis in line with the volume profile. So again, you know, if we have this money, and how were we able to predict this? It was because money flow was coming out. So if we have that 4-hour money flow continue to the downside, yes, the idea of holding this value area low, I'm not going to lie, it's kind of nice that we're, you know, attempting, at least on the lower time frames, to get above this anchored VWAP value area low. It does technically open the door to the POC, but we do have to be very careful here, guys, because if we pull those Fibonacci retracements, you can see, whoops, let me, there we go, right? You do have 786, right? There's different confluences depending on what you're looking at, right? But you have the 786 POC confluence. You also have this golden pocket sitting kind of in the middle of the value area low in the POC. So I would say like the most local level to put a lower high in at, honestly, we're kind of tapping the most local level. I'll bring that up in a minute. But if we do continue up through this profile, if we're looking for lower highs and lower lows, this would be that next kind of Fibonacci retracement that I would look at, right? When you pull from the high to the low, rejection, high to the low, rejection, high to the low, simply just going to be looking at that as a key zone to reject, right? Because even if we come back up, you could get stuck under that POC for the lower high if money flow is continuing out, and that may be able to start the bigger drop to the downside. So if we do see that, that's the key level of resistance I will be looking at. I'm going to give you the big zone here. It's between about 117,578 all the way up to the POC at about 118,280. And that's going to be the level to watch, right? Now, we are also tapping into some local, like kind of hyper-local resistance here. We do have the golden pocket value area low 786 sitting right down here. And I hate to bring up like every little intermediary level. I wouldn't really be surprised if you can make it up to that POC. This would be the bigger, more important, like higher time frame level, but we never know, right? You might just reject this local Fibonacci retracement, lose the value area, and at that point, I'd be looking for the breakage structure to the downside again, just like here, right? That would be the continuation of that downtrend. Honestly, that would be kind of like too perfect in my opinion, but that's what the charts are saying, right? So it wouldn't be until we flip and hold this point of control where I would be looking for that move up to the value area high. And if we do get that, we have another key level of resistance, right? And that really does sit up here near that liquidity that we have sitting. Let me go ahead and pull this up real quick. I got the heat map loaded up here. Bada boom, right? So we have that liquidity sitting up here above the previous highs, starting at about $120,000, leading all the way up to about $121,500 and $120,500. So I used to have the liquidity marked out here on the chart, but I accidentally deleted it. So let's assume we hold this value area low. We don't put the lower high in here. We don't put the lower high in at the POC, and we wind up getting above that point of control. Value area high is the next local level of resistance, 119,533. And if we can deviate above here, understand, above this high, we do have liquidity. So if we push up, we could see that big liquidation wick push us into between, I would say, $120,000 to $120,500, right? We have the liquidity, and honestly, the liquidity does run up pretty much to the 786, so it's kind of like a big zone of resistance. So we'll have to gauge the reaction at these price levels to see if we're getting any confirmations. But if we do push up there, this could be an area to look for potential tops to be formed for another drop back down into the profile and potentially the bigger drop to the downside. If we can crack above the 786 at 121,436, in my opinion, right, if we could hold high time frame support up there, right, 4-hour daily candle closures, that is where we could potentially look for that shocker rip into new all-time highs. Money flow is saying that this is the less likely situation, but we have to be prepared for this as traders, because if we are going to get that move, we want to be ready for that next trade, right? And I'm, might want to be ready, if we get up here and start flipping to support, if we get bearish confirmations, I'm probably taking some profits on my longs from lower. If we're getting bullish confirmations, I may hold a bigger portion of that trade to profit a bit more on the way to the upside. But to be very clear, money flow is definitely trending down. We have the weekly bear div, the weekly red dot. These could continue that drop to the downside. So very simple. Local resistance, potential rejection, POC would be the next area I would look if we don't get the rejection here. I don't really see a ton of beautiful confirmation here for a big rejection just yet. So I will be watching that point of control, Fibonacci retracement confluence that I just showed. And then if we get above that POC, I would just be sitting on my hands. Honorable mention here, value area high is always going to be resistance, but I would be looking for the bigger trades up here in that bigger level of support. We do have some confluence up here as well. If I pull up the daily MPOCs, we have a daily MPOC at about 120,500. And then just above that is the 786, or not just above, but a little bit above that is the 786, right? So you do have some confluence up here. You have the liquidity, and if we look at a lower time frame on that liquidity heat map, let me go ahead and pull up the. Let's take up the 1 week real quick. Right here. Right, so starting at about 120, leading all the way up to about, 121, really, 121.4, 121.5. So you do have a bit of liquidity up here. So, the shorts are going to be pretty dangerous up here, in my opinion, right, because you could get those short squeezes to the upside. So we'll have to get some real strong confirmation to actually take a short up there. But that is what I'm going to be looking at. Technically, we're above the value area low. Just watch out for those rejections. Flip out the POC. Look up towards the value area high. And then here, I might look for scalps. But again, at that point, we're going to be so close to all this liquidity up here. We know liquidity can act as a magnet for price. So, if you don't get beautiful confirmation, even if you do get beautiful confirmation, it wouldn't be that unlikely, in my opinion, to get a little rejection and then sweep out that liquidity. Because again, liquidity acts as a magnet. We see this happen all the time. And it's actually pretty cool, honestly. Like when you know where to look on those heat maps, very often you'll see like, well, there's the magnet and price will play around. And then sure enough, sweep, you'll get that sweep work into the liquidity zone. So that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking at. And as of right now, I'm not holding a short position. I'm only holding my long from much lower. And I'm just going to wait for a new short entry, with the premium Discord in those next key levels of resistance. And if we don't get them, we will simply wait for the next levels. So intermediary resistance, value area high, bigger level up here in the golden pocket, 786 daily MPOC / liquidity. So let me come back into the chart real quick. Let's see. Shout out to Tony. Says, next time when it's going to be 35K, I'm going to be buying like crazy. Shout out to Tony. It's a feeling that a lot of people get. It's a feeling a lot of people get. If you miss the dump, it's like, dang, next time we get down to a lower level, I'm going to buy. But I will get you prepared, bro. It is much easier said than done. When we're back down at 35K, there's probably going to be a lot of fear in the market. Very similar to what we saw happen here when we got dumped down to 75K. Everyone's saying like, oh, man, if we ever got below six figures, I'd buy again. And then I'm not saying you would do this, but I'm just saying mostly, people get down here, they're like, nah, bear market, I'm not buying this. But again, the charts were able to show us that this would very likely be a higher low for a higher high. And we did see that play out. So let's see here. Bada boom, bada bing. Shout out to Shirley Sound, said back into the chart. Nice. Shout out to Shirley Sound. Welcome in. Let's see. Do you think Chopsticks will pump it up? Shout out to Skizzle. Dan says, forget money flow. Liquidity, here we come. Let's go. Shout out to Dan. Let's get it. You got to watch those liquidity pockets 100%. I think we go up and then down and then up and repeat. Thank you for your attention to my TA. Shout out to Sandberger. One thing I can guarantee you guys is this market will go up, and then down again, and then up again. And then probably down again. And then probably up again. Shout out to you, man. Let's see. DCA beats timing. Shout out to Darren. Does things 100%. I agree with you. For my long-term spot bags, or at least for long-term bags, DCA is the way, right? Get a nice little average entry price. You guys know this. During the bear market, if you've been in the Mafia here since the bear market, DCA was the move, right? Starting to buy down here. Oh, no, you're buying the top. Nah, we come back down. Oh, my God, this is so scary, right? You get that average entry price. You buy. I usually use DCA bots, which are really, really nice because it takes the emotion out of buying. You're just kind of doing your thing and, let the computers do the buying because the computers don't feel fear. But, you get that average entry price. For me, it's like between 20 and 21K, and then you enjoy that nice rip onto the upside, which really does does help with those crazy corrections, right? Everyone gets really scared. It's like, well, hey, I'm still in massive profit here. And then it kind of allows you to get a clear view of the TA, right? Because your emotions are completely separated from the game because you're not really deep in the red. So there you go. Let me get rid of these brushes real quick. Bada boom. And we will take a look at the altcoins in just a minute, guys. Shout out to Dan, said, love this up and down. Yeah, I mean, that's the volatility, right? We just need volatility. It doesn't matter if it goes up or down. We can make money no matter what. And I have to say, guys, I do prefer shorting. I don't know what it is. It's, I don't know, maybe I'm a pessimist. But let's see. Shout out to Dutchy, said, I had a quick look around, but I'm really the only handsome guy tonight. Shout out to Dutchy. It's crazy, bro. But Dutchy is a handsome man. I'm not going to lie. Platonically, of course. Crypto Billy in the chat. What is going on, Billy? Welcome in. Guys, by the way, I will be on BGT. That is Billy Gotel's Billy's X Space on Tuesday at 8 p.m. So tune in. We're going to, I'm not sure 100% what we're going to be talking about, but I know it's going to be good conversation. Shout out to Crypto Billy. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Yo, Trent said, LOL, we know you prefer shorting. You know what I think it is? I think it's like when I first like learned that you could short the market, it's like this eye-opening thing. It's like, oh my God, you don't have to be a slave to price going up. You could just, all you need is price going up and down and you can make money, right? Especially in crypto when you're like, kind of like stuck with waiting for the bull market to make money. If you can learn how to short, the bear markets are simply just another bull market, right? When you have the bear market come in, did I say bull market? When you have the bear market come in, right? Moves down can make you money just like the moves up. So you kind of get like two bull runs, right? You get the spot bag bull run, which is nice because you can long this and hold spot. So you kind of get like double profit. But then when you come down, it's like you don't have to just sit out and wait. You can actually make money on the way down. And then you could take that profit and buy extra crypto at the bottom, which is a beautiful, 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 beautiful thing. And maybe that's why I like shorting so much. I think it has something to do with that and just the fact that my brain just thinks like, hey, gravity's on your side, right? Which is totally false logic there. But trading is not easy. Yeah, shout out to the king of Bitcoin. 100% trading is not easy. But it is very rewarding if you can figure it out. Let's see. Yo, shit, Dutchy said, thanks, Frankie. I'll tip you later, as we agreed upon. Yo, shout out to Dutchy. Let's see. Zach said super chats won't work. Interesting. Huh. At Tony D. Maybe YouTube's broken? I don't know. Yo, Zach says, new indicator, Powell speaks, 200x short. Probably not a bad strategy. Let's see. Yo, Pose says, it's like you belong to the light side and find out there is a dark side. It's so much easier to switch. Let's go short. Shout out to Pose. Let's get it, baby. I closed my long at 36.95, assuming ETH. Now it's up. Dang it. Shout out to Eugene. That's okay, brother. There's going to be another trade. I promise you that. That's another thing I can promise you with 100% certainty is that there will always be another trade. Anytime I miss a trade, guys, I'm not tripping. I will catch the next move. And when you start chasing those trades, it could get very, very dangerous, and you will quickly liquidate your account potentially. So please do not fall into that. Is there really a problem with the super chats? That's interesting. Shout out to Tony Roa, says buying the top and selling the bottom is easy. Yeah, it's crazy how that works, right? Because it's essentially just the same thing, right? If you could sell the bottom, I used to think this all the time. Like, if you could sell the bottom so perfectly, like, why is it so much harder to sell the top, right? Like, you're still calling the move, right? Just in the wrong direction. It's insane. YouTube, go home, you're drunk. I'm not gonna lie, guys. YouTube is kind of wonky here on the analytics on my end too. So maybe YouTube is breaking a little bit. Wow, I guess YouTube might be broken. Everybody's having trouble with YouTube. That is crazy. Says error every time I try to super chat. YouTube, you stayed up too late last night. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know. But hey, drop it in the free chat. I do read most of the free chat. So save your money and drop a free chat. But guys, we're going to take a look here at the altcoins. So that is basically my thought process here. Another key level that I will be watching here on Bitcoin, guys, is going to be this weekly NTAP daily MPOC. If we can get back above this weekly and flip it to support, might be a good indication that you might be able to get that continuation up towards that POC. This level does sit at about 117,354. It's kind of like the top of that key level of resistance. If you flip that to support, POC might be next. And then once you flip that, you might be able to come up a bit higher where I have my next interest in short positions. So that is what I'm going to be looking at for Bitcoin. But other than that, guys, we covered a lot on the live stream earlier today. Oh, hey, there's Crypto Billy. Let's go. Test. There we go. Shout out to Crypto Billy. I guess the super chats are they're back, guys. They're back. It was a quick hiccup on YouTube's part. They just had to unplug it and plug it back in. Simple little pull out the Nintendo cartridge, blow in it, and it's all good. Shout out to Crypto Billy. Thank you for that, bro. Shout out to Mr. Cali. Said I love to short just because red's my favorite color. Red's my favorite color too. Now, not because of that, but it's just generally one of my favorite colors. Let's see. Oh, yeah, VPN might affect a super chat as well. Maybe it's thinks you're in the wrong place or something like that. Pengu, check out Coin. Let's take a look at Coin real quick just because sometimes this can front run moves on Bitcoin. Let's see here. Yeah, I wouldn't really say. I mean, it obviously looks very similar to Bitcoin. You don't have the local bearish divergence, right? We don't have the lower high on momentum waves. So, yeah, maybe I'll dig into this a little bit, and then we'll talk about it tomorrow. But, yeah, I would say, I mean, it's just pretty much looks very similar to Bitcoin, kind of at the same point at this, kind of in the same area at this point. But I will be taking a look at the altcoins, guys. We'll take a look at Ethereum. We'll take a look at Solana. Take a look at XRP, and then we'll take some requests from the chat. Free chats. Please do not super chat your altcoins. I beg you. I can't guarantee that your super chat will guarantee that we look at your coin. So save your money. Drop them in the free chat, and I'll just kind of free ball them here with you guys. Time to call Satoshi, Frankie. I tried to call Satoshi during FOMC, and he hung up on me. And what did we get? We got the dump. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. How rude he just hung up on me like that. How many U.S. beers do you have to drink to equal a German beer? I don't know. Probably a couple. All right, let's see. Let's jump into Ethereum here really, really quick. Not many understand that pain. Shout out to P-Dub. What pain are you talking about? The pain of being in the red? That is a painful feeling. Yeah, Sui. Yeah, some people were requesting Sui on the earlier live stream. Yo, Zach Leroy said testes 1-2. Shout out to Zach Leroy, bro. Yo, thank you for the super chat, bro. So yeah, super chats are live again, I guess. I don't know what the heck that was. But let's continue on. Let's see if we can crack this, crack and hold this tapped weekly and tapped daily MPOC, and see if we can push up into that point of control of the range. In which case, you know, I'll be honest, guys. Like, although I am not long from the 786, which is totally fine, I am holding my long from lower, right? So I would actually kind of like a little bit of a push up here. Shout out to Pose, said first YouTuber that to say tell people to stop super chats. Save your money. We love you, Frankie. Shout out to Pose. Yeah. Shout out to Dutchy. Thank you for the super chat. Testing Billy's test. I think test complete. Copy. 10-4. Franklin Candelabra over and out. Yeah, shout out to Pose, man. I mean, listen, you know, because I feel bad. Like, anytime I don't look at an altcoin, it's literally impossible. And then people are like, hey, you didn't look at my altcoin. And I pay attention enough to the free chat that you can get your requests in on the free chat. So, yeah, you know, I actually, you know, unlike a lot of other people, I really like to, you know, I don't want people spending money and wasting money. You know what I'm saying? That's why we give all this free value on the charts, right? I could tell everybody join my Discord, get rich overnight, right? I'm not going to sell you a fake dream. You know, my Discord is more for when you're ready to take your trading to the next level, or you want to expedite your learning process. That's when you can learn. But I have so much free value on this YouTube channel. Unless you've run through all the free content on this YouTube channel, you have plenty of time to watch some free stuff before getting into a paid service like the Discord. But we do crush in the Discord, so super fun. Shout out to Zach Leroy. Thank you for the super chat. Said, pause the VPN. Let's go. So that was the problem. Who said that? I think Rob said that. Shout out to Rob for fixing that problem. But let's go ahead and jump on over here to Ethereum, or Erythrium, as your grandmother might call it. So here we are, guys. This is what we were looking at earlier on the stream. I will bring up the other chart as well, but I am just going to look at this as a typical volume profile. You know, we did break back down into this value area high, or into this value area in full. Sorry. I talked a lot today, guys. We did not fill it in full, but we broke down below that value area high. And this does potentially open up the door to that point of control, which does sit at about 36.47. We are coming back up to retest that value area high. I'm going to pull a fib here. We'll pull it from the highest to the low here. So we do have a little bit of local resistance here between about $37.63 and about $3,800. We just don't want to get stuck under this value area high, right? If you get stuck under the value area high, which obviously money flow could be pointing towards, we could just eventually look to rotate into that point of control. If we lose the POC, you could be looking down towards the value area low at 35.39. Unless we see some kind of like mega nuke overnight, I think these levels are going to be pretty good to look at for today. Obviously, if we bring up our typical ETH chart, you guys know, when we look at this, we're outside of the value area here. We do have some bearish divergences here, somewhat. We have higher highs, lower highs. Money flow generally trending out here on the 6 hour, just kind of a random time frame that I'm looking at. 4 hour money flow also cruising towards that zero line, potentially looking for that crossover into the red. If we see that money flow crossover, guys, you just got to anticipate the continuation of the downtrend, right? And then, we do have the value area high. I'm going to hide some of these levels just to clean it up. We do have the, I'm just going to mark this out, value area high, daily MPOC sitting between 35.39 and 3400. If we are going to just stay outside of this range and get the breakout, we've already gotten the breakout and the bounce off this level when we were first looking at it, which is very nice to put in a new high. But if we do come back down, maybe we just kind of consolidate here. We fill that local volume profile that I showed you over here. You can see that is very, very close to the levels that we have here. So, if we, ideally we stay above here, maybe we tap the MPOC and get back out. But once we lose that daily MPOC, I'm probably going to be looking a bit lower here because the next significant level that we have is going to be this daily MPOC at 3172. And then under that, we have another pocket of daily MPOCs, one sitting at between about $3,000 and $2,800. The nice thing about this confluent zone of support here, guys, is the fact that this is also in line with someone asked this on the earlier stream, was like, do you think we can go down to about $2,700? I wouldn't love this, but it would still be a pretty decent level of support. You have the MPOCs, you have the structural highs from the, what was this? This was like a 2-month range, maybe? Could be way off on that. 2-month range. So, even if we got that bigger pullback, let's say Bitcoin goes back towards 110K, maybe even 107, that could be Ethereum sitting down here potentially. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Locally, I would be watching this value area. And the levels are sitting at the value area high, 37.64, POC 36.47, and then we have the value area low at 35.39. Not possible. I doubt that we're just going to nuke right out of here. It could happen, but I do think you're going to get some reaction off these volume profiles. They are very, very respected, especially if we're going to remain a little bit range bound here. So, shout out to Tammy's Antique said, why is Frankie talking 20 miles an hour? Shout out to Tammy. I would say probably faster than 20 miles an hour. Shout out to Tammy. I am a fast talker. I'm from New York, baby. We move quick. And you got to move quick when you're looking at Bitcoin, especially if you're trying to trade it. Let's see. So that's what I'm looking at on ETH for the most part, guys. Where will Sui be if Bitcoin hits 112K? Shout out to Trade Made. I'm going to take a look at Solana real quick, and then we'll get into Sui. But if we take a look here at the Solana chart, here we are, right? We looked at this recently. We had the loss of the value area low, again, with money flow coming out. We had some local support here, but as we looked at on the live stream, money flow calls for the bigger retracement to the downside, right? So once you lose that value area low, which was to be expected, the next big key level to look at was this golden pocket. This golden pocket's pulled from the impulse. And the reason I have this fib pulled here from the impulse, guys, is because it is, it's the start of the impulse that broke out of this range, right? So this is a significant fib for what I look for. We have the golden pocket. We're attempting to hold it right now. If we lose this golden pocket, very simply put, I will be looking towards the 786 value area high confluence sitting right here between, call it, at about $168 to $167. And again, this would be very similar to a retest. And then hopefully we can hold above that range, get back inside this value area low, and then start sending it back up towards the POC. Kind of disappointing, guys. I'm not going to lie that we did not hold this value area low. This was honestly looking pretty good as far as getting accepted in and pushing up towards that POC. We did get the push up, but you just couldn't push it up towards that POC. And funny enough, guys, we did kind of fill almost that full measured move of this kind of like wonky head and shoulders that we were looking at. I'm just going to rough this out, right? You pull from the neckline all the way down to the bottom of the head, and then you pull this up. Actually, hang on. This was not the one. You could look at this, actually. But this would bring you all the way up to that point of control golden pocket, which, would have been really nice to see. But I think we were looking more at this one, right? You have your left shoulder, your head, your right shoulder. There's your neckline, the breakout retest, boom. And then this measured move brought us like literally almost exactly to this level. which is pretty interesting. And I don't trade patterns alone, guys. Like, it's not what I trade based off of, but I do use it for technical targets. And then you bring it to the breakout zone, and you can see we basically got to that full measured move. So the retracement was not unlikely here, especially with the way money flow was looking. So all eyes on that 100. If we lose this golden pocket, all eyes on $167 for Solana. If we get stuck back in this value area, right, I would be looking down towards about $157 to $153. I keep wanting to say 1,000. We're so used to looking at Bitcoin here. But I'm going to pull the full golden pocket retracement here from the low to the high. And you can see we do have golden pocket confluence on those daily MPOCs. So this would be a nice level. Kind of a bummer because if we get down there, could you bounce? Yes. But value area high is right above you, and then if you can't get back out of there, it could be calling for that POC, which is actually nice because we do have the 786 confluent with that level. You have a weekly MPOC, a point of control of the range, and the 786 Fibonacci retracement sitting at $144. So if you get back into this golden pocket, you get a bounce, and you do not get accepted or do not break out of this range, could be looking towards that POC, which is another pretty good area of confluence, right? And we talk about, especially on altcoins, sometimes when you get the initial breakout of the range, sometimes you can come back down and test the POC before getting the bigger breakout. If you've been watching this show for a while, you will know that we always bring up Dogecoin. There's many other coins that do this, but you could see like you get that big breakout, almost the same exact thing, right? You break out of that lower range, you push into the value area, you barely front run the, hang on a second. I don't think this would be too crazy. Let me just pull this. This is kind of wonky. I'm actually not going to do that. But, you kind of front run that POC, you lose the range, and then you get that bigger push to the downside. But what did you retest here? You retest the POC. And what was that? It was a pullback for a big bounce into a larger move into the macro value area high. Maybe this is similar to what we're going to see on Solana, right? If you get that bigger pullback, this would be almost that exact same move, right? And the fact that it is the 786 of the full fib retracement from the macro, from the swing low to the swing high could be a level to maintain your higher low scenario, and then you would be expecting a break of structure to the upside. Would have been so nice to see it here, but still got that measured move to play out. So that's what I'll be looking at on Solana, or Solonzo, as some people like to say. James Cramer likes to call it Solonzo. But that's what we're looking at on Solana. And again, like market cipher, I'm not going to stick too much to this because I just happen to know that like Solana looks very similar to Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? So, we take a look at the money flow, right? Daily money flow looks actually a little bit different, but then you take a look at some of these lower time frames. 5-hour money flow coming out, 4-hour money flow coming out. So, we could get a retracement, but if this money flow stays in the red or continues to trend to the downside, even if we fake back out into the green, right? We've spent a good amount of time here in the green. Had a nice move up. Nothing goes up forever, guys, and that's okay. So yeah, 32 days of green money flow on the 4-hour. This is a pretty decent money flow wave. So even if we peek back into the green, you have to be aware of those lower highs for a bigger continuation, for that bigger pullback. And I would say something like that I would be okay with. Once you lose the POC, that is a little bit more worrisome. Then we're looking down towards the value area low, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Hopefully, we don't even have to deal with it. Hopefully, we can just stick the value area high and then send it back into this range. But I like to show you guys what Dogecoin did because it's just very similar, right? And these chart patterns, the TA, like price action is fractal, right? Like the way it behaves on one asset, typically it is what you see on other assets as well. And for some reason, the altcoins, right, after big breakouts, sometimes do like to go test those POCs. But hopefully, we don't have to deal with it, right? Let's see. Let's see. Baby Genius says INJ, Epic, BNB, SUUSDT, Algo. Thanks, homie. Shout out to Baby Genius. Yeah, we'll try to take a look at some of those for you. No problemo. You guys are crazy. Shout out to Spinner. Spinner Trade says, "What's up with the ads on the live stream? I got 3 already." Shout out to Tony D. Did the ad settings change on the live stream? Let me know. If so, change it back to what we usually have. Yeah. Well, did YouTube just like glitch out and master reset? What the heck happened? No super chats, but they put extra ads. Very strange. Ada, Tia. Okay, cool. All right, so let's go ahead and we took a look at Solana, took a look at Ethereum. Should we take a look at XRP? To be honest, guys, like I've covered XRP so much that like we're like all prepared for these levels, right? We have these intermediary levels, but at the end of the day, like I said on the earlier live stream, right? I'll just hide some of this, right? At the end of the day, the big level of support for me personally is going to be the range highs here. 786 value area high confluence at 260. if we get the range test, that would be a big place to look for a bounce. If we break down, maybe you go to that POC, and it's a very similar situation where we do have the full 786. If we pull it to the low here, or I'm sorry, is it the impulse? What were we looking at before? Okay, so yeah, oh no, it wasn't the POC of the range. It was the NPOC here on the daily. So yeah, I mean, it'd be really nice if we could just bounce off that value area high. If the market really wants to freak people out and give that last shakeout, I would potentially, hopefully we can bounce here. Daily MPOC, golden pocket, value area high. Very, very confluent level of support. Once you lose that, point of control is going to be next. If you lose the POC, 786 daily MPOC is going to be that next level sitting at about 230. I don't want to deal with this level because, again, as I said on many other things, if you bounce here, you're already accepted not only below your value area high, but you're also below your POC, which increases the chances of coming down to the low. But I would say here from a Fibonacci standpoint, when we pull this, right, from the low to the high, meaning the low here at about $1.90 all the way to the high, right? Like you're hoping that if you're going to get a bounce, it's either going to happen here or here. Once you lose that 786, not only is it likely to come down to the value area low, but you may be on your way to snap that low here at $1.90. Again, not my base case, not what I want to see. We also have a ton of support, not only up here, but also here and here. So you have tons of support on the way down, but I just wanted to have you guys prepared, right? Like that 786, I would say 230, 228 is going to be like the big line in the sand for more downside for me personally. So yeah, this would be, and again, I know a lot of people are saying alt season canceled, alt season delayed, potentially. I wasn't personally anticipating rate cuts this FOMC, obviously. It was actually have it right here. It was like a 96.9% chance that you were going to get no change. And these are like literally right almost 100% of the time, right? So when you see those predictions, typically they are right. So yeah, I would say September is going to be like the big meeting to look at for rate cuts. And if they start pushing then, that could be potentially very bad for altcoins. But, when we look at the dominance, right? We talked about getting the support at the value area low. Even if we get corrections here, when we pull from the from the high to the low here, golden pocket, I hope we don't have to come back up to 63, 64%. But, I'm not going to bring the whole thing up because I cover it every day. Previously, in the same profile, we have seen before alt season happened, we did get a drop from the POC to the low, and then we kind of bing-bonged around here for a little bit. And this could be a very, very choppy situation for altcoins. Big corrections, etc. But the nice thing here is we do have money flow in the red on the daily, right? So as long as we can continue having this money flow cross into the red, I would be looking at these as lower highs and lower lows, right? And we don't even have to come all the way up here. We can look at some more local levels, but at the end of the day, you would be looking for that downtrend to continue based off your money flow on Market Cipher B. Somebody asked what MCB means. Market Cipher B. It's just the indicator that I have down here. Let's see. And if we get no alt season, is this possible? I mean, it's definitely possible, but not my base case, right? But if we don't get alt season, this is definitely something that could happen. But, yeah, it would just be, again, just because it seems unlikely or like it would just be crazy to see no alt season doesn't mean it won't happen. It's like, I don't know. It's like, we look at, say, Solana. It's like Solana doesn't make a new all-time high this cycle. That would be so weird, right? It's like you have the ETF stuff. I mean, you have so many reasons for this stuff to continue to pump. And especially if in my opinion, it all lies on the rate cuts, right? This is one of those conditions that we've had met, almost every other time. So I do think the rate cuts will be the thing that will really, really send this thing into the last phase of the bull market. But if we don't get them, guys, if they push it in September, it's probably going to delay that, right? If they push it into 2026, like it might delay alt season for a long time. And, that just is what it is, right? But again, hopefully, we'll see. It's very hard to say. When we get closer to September, we could try to make stronger bets on that. But something to pay attention to. But if we get them in September, guys, hilariously enough, it would just be so right on time, right? And one thing we haven't checked in on in a while is the RTY. This is another thing that we typically see break out before we see a massive alt season. This is basically like looking at the altcoin market for stocks, right? It's like the 2000 lower cap stocks. So it's kind of like the alt market of stocks. So let's see. Let's pull from the high to the low here. Yeah, I mean, listen, we got a nice push up here, but we're pushing into a golden pocket 786, right? So this is kind of annoying because it's resistance. However, it gives us a clear line in the sand. If we can crack here at about 23.14, it could indicate, right, that the lower high is invalidated, right? You have a look. It's a head and shoulders, guys. It's a head and shoulders. I'm just kidding. But I mean, maybe. But maybe we get a little correction here, excuse me, but, it gives you that line in the sand. I would say 23.12, get above that. This could be that. This starts cracking that 786. This is probably where you're going to start seeing the altcoins fly as well. But again, no rate cuts. It's going to be hard for that to happen just with the way we see things play out, right? If this does not pump, very likely alt season will not happen. So yeah, or at least I don't want to say it's like never going to happen. It just won't happen until we get the breakout. So there you go. Let's see. Shout out to Daniel says Frankie ton chart is getting confusing for me. Can you please check it out and see which direction it is going? Yes, we'll try to take a look at ton. I will take a look at Sui next. I'll just go ahead and write here ton, and I'll take some more requests in just a minute. ICP, for example, is in the same range since March. Shout out to Mr. New Creation. Maybe we'll take a look at ICP as well. But let's take a look at Sui real quick. Bada boom. Let's see here. I think it's the Coinbase. No. One day I'll get those charts on the first try. But here we are, guys. Technical trading here. And, I do also want to point out here, guys, this has nothing to do with saying we called it or anything like that. That's cheesy. But I do just want to say, right, when we've been looking at these alts recently, right, definitely looking good long term. But, nothing goes up in a straight line. What do we have here? We had Cardano approaching its value area low. This is nice, right? However, this is always going to be resistance until proven otherwise. And I can even bring you back to the last time we got a push to the POC, right? Sometimes you can get some kind of reaction off that value area low before you flip it to support. This is obviously a bigger reaction that we're getting. But, this is always going to be resistance until proven otherwise, right? And when you get a massive move up, let me pull up the daily here, right? When you get a big move up like this of about 82%, right, you have to correct, right? There at some point, especially at resistance, right? And that's the whole point, right? Find the resistance level, see that big move up. You can say to yourself, well, hey, if we hit this level, we're probably going to get some kind of a reaction. But, and funny enough, guys, I filmed the XRP price prediction video. I did drop that earlier today. Go check that out if you have not already. We did the ETH price prediction. We did the XRP price prediction. This is all obviously in the context that we do get rate cuts to come in. But when we look at this, I shot the Cardano price prediction video last week, and I even talked about this, right? Last week we were coming up and tapping into here. I think I actually shot it on Thursday. I think it was Thursday. Oh, no, it was Wednesday, actually. So, yeah, we were pushing right up into this value area. I even talked about, be careful, right? You could see some resistance here. We had some signs on the chart. Watch out for that pullback. And if you watch that video, I'll probably try to drop it tomorrow. You'll see, right? Because the price action is going to be a little older. And I'll be like, watch out for that pullback. And you'll be like, wow, you could actually use these charts to predict these moves. But this does not mean that it's going to zero, right? When you take a look here at the higher time frames, 2-day money flow still in the green. Hopefully we can keep this in the green, in which case you would be looking for higher lows and higher highs. The biggest level I would look at, I'll just give you the simple levels here on Cardano, pulled from the low to the high. I would be looking at the golden pocket 786. I think I talk about this in the video. 67 to about 60 cents, right? That could be the place to potentially look for a higher low before putting in another higher high, breaking that structure to the upside, getting accepted into your bigger profile, and then rotating into the value area high / golden pocket 786. And then, I'll save the price predictions for that video that I'm going to drop. But that could be something to look for. But let's go back to Sui here, as we are getting a very similar situation here, right? We came up to resistance. For Sui, it was the value area high, right? Not the value area low, but we did come into that resistance, right? And I will just hide this lower zone. Let me hide this lower volume profile, right? So we had the deviation below the low. You come back in. Once you flip that value area low, you look for a move to the POC. Flip the POC. You're going to look to begin your journey to where? The value area high. Low, POC, get above the POC, start that move into the value area high. Can't hate on that, right? But what happens at the value area high? You're going to be looking for rejections. So key levels of support down below for Sui, just to show you guys why this is not super uncalled for to see these corrections. But if we look at this, 6-hour money flow crossing over into the red, 4-hour money flow crossing over into the red. So as long as we have this money flow staying in the red, guys, lower highs and lower lows could be anticipated, right? So where would I look for potential rejections? I'll just pull the full fib. There's no guarantee we get all the way back up there, but, this would be the biggest level to look at if we push into this fib level, lower high, lower low. I'd be looking to take out that low right here, potentially pushing you into your next key level of support, sitting between 348 and 336. Golden pocket. This is the, This is the golden pocket from the impulse all the way to the high, right? So you have your golden pocket in confluence with your POC. You also have your anchored VWAP coming up here as well. So you do have some confluent levels of support here. Money flow is coming out, though, so just don't be afraid if we get that continuation to the downside. I would hope that we bounce off of here, but if we lose it, we have another big zone of support here. We have the 786 sitting at about 315. I'll cover the lower levels if we have to deal with them. But for right now, I would just be watching this level of support, 336 to 348. So there we go. That's pretty much what I would look at. Again, money flow looks very similar to everything else. Had a little bit, oh yeah, you had a beautiful bear div here on SUI as well on the daily. Daily bear divs will oftentimes give you drops to the downside. But look at the money flow, right? Money flow still coming up in the green. So until we see this higher time frame money flow crossover into the red, I would not be that worried. If we start seeing it crossover back over into the red and we see the signs on the chart that we're going lower, we will cover those lower levels. So there you go. That's what I'll be looking at on SUI. And try to see if I can pull some local levels for you guys as well. I mean, you could potentially look at this as some kind of a volume profile. But again, for the altcoins, I'd be paying attention a little bit more to the longer term, right? Because if Bitcoin's going to dump, I wouldn't expect like super crazy reactions off the value area low. So I would just be watching these bigger levels. But you do have local support down here. You are tapping into that value area low at about 373. Just an honorable mention. So there you go. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Leave. Okay, there we go. All right, let's see here. H-bar. Yeah, we'll take a look at H-bar. Where can I find this indicator for free? I'm broke. Shout out to I Told You So. So the Market Cipher B is obviously a paid indicator. There are other things that can show you similar information. They're not exactly the same. I've compared them on stream before, I believe. And the one thing that is really different about them is money flow. And money flow is a bit of it's like one of the bigger things that I look at on Market Cipher. So it doesn't mean that the money flow on any other indicator you're looking at is wrong. But if you see me talking about a money flow crossover on a key time frame and you're not seeing it, just understand that I am looking at a different indicator. But there are other alternatives that are free. They're just not exactly the same. Let's see. XRP, shout out to Unrivaled Dre. We actually did already take a look at XRP. So just scrub back a little bit and you'll get all the sauce on XRP. H-bar, let's jump into H-bar really quickly. Thanks, bro. Shout out to Torgado. No problemo, bro. K Diggity said, flies and other bugs fly based on direction of the sun. Disco balls have a way of making them go to the wrong party. Shout out to K Diggity. Interesting. Is that true? I actually was watching Planet Earth the other night, and they said that sea turtles, when they're born, they go into the welcome to random facts from Frankie. When they're born, they get into the ocean, right? They crawl from the sand, they jump into the ocean. Most of them die, I think. But the ones that make it through go to swim into the ocean, and like something about the magnetic pull of the Earth like imprints like a internal compass that when like they come back 15 years later and they're guided by the Earth's magnetic force of where they were born. I thought TA was magic. I don't know what the heck is going on with nature. But yeah, pretty crazy. Which is funny too, because we use Fibonacci. We use the golden ratio in trading, which is like something we see in nature that helps us trade, which is really cool. Yo, shout out to K Ticket. He said Frankie's always reading my most random chats. Shout out to he's like asking questions and stuff, and I only read the crazy stuff. Let's see. ADD Dad. Shout out to ADD Dad. Hope you're doing well, bro. Said, I use the free one, but it's not the same. Speaking of, can you look at Tesla on Market Cipher B? Yeah, we don't look at stocks often, ADD Dad, but we can take a look at Tesla for you. No problemo, bro. Shout out to ADD Dad, man. I hope you're doing good. And it was awesome meeting you that time at the mall. Let's see. Turtles use GPS. They're just still using TomToms. They're just suction cupped onto their shell. You are the best KOL by far. Shout out to I Told You So, bro. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. 90 to 99% of them die. Yeah, shout out to Shunzin. Okay, so I was right. I was paying attention. I wasn't just sitting there on my phone. I was paying attention. What is this? What is this? What is this? It's light. But anyway, all right. So let's take a look at, let's jump into H-bar real quick. Let's see here. It's not our H-bar chart. XC, there it is. Okay, so H-bar still inside of its larger volume profile. This is actually not terrible, but money flow. I mean, look at the money flow. 4-hour money flow crossing into the red at this point, guys, right? And again, this doesn't mean we're going to zero necessarily, but if we get that green dot on the 4-hour, could we get a bounce? Sure. Excuse me. But based off the 4-hour time frame, right, we would potentially look for lower highs and lower lows, which would lead you into the value area low, where we also I don't know if I'd pay as much attention to this golden pocket. We're probably hitting the local fib levels right now. So yeah, right now, just for context here, we are bouncing off that 786, similar to Bitcoin. But if we lose that 786, value area low is just underneath you. And if you look at the bigger fib zone, I mean, you do have the golden pocket sitting there. Let me see. Do we have any? Man, look at that rejection off. Rejection off this POC is crazy, right? You get above the low, front run the POC, back down to the low, push into the POC. I mean, you could be starting a new little range here, a little bit of consolidation. But I would watch this value area low. This is your next technical key level of support, 24 cents. Just below that golden pocket, we've kind of already bounced off that zone. If we lose this, though, I would definitely be looking down towards the 786. We also have an anchored VWAP coming up here as well. This is pulled from the low here in June. So that is going to be a key level to watch. This will trend up over time. But simply put, come down, lose the golden pocket, push into the 786. That would be the next key level of support. And I could try to check here if we have any MPOC sitting down there real quick. Unfortunately, we don't. It's kind of a bummer, to be honest. Next daily MPOC is all the way down here at 17 cents, which hopefully we don't have to deal with, right? That would be kind of brutal. But watch that 786 sitting at 21 cents. If you lose that, the huge level of support, I pull it to the new high, doesn't really change the level much. Very similar to everything else we were looking at. 786 here is confluent with this structural high that we have here. And then, maybe we get a bounce. If you lose this level, though, this is going to be the big zone to look at. Previous value area high with your golden pocket. This is the full golden pocket retracement from the low to the high. Right, so if you lose these local fibs, you're just looking to come down and test this golden pocket. And again, just to put it in context here, right, we ripped 138%, right? So, these pullbacks are not super uncommon, right? You also had a daily bear div here on H-bar as well into the key level of resistance. Price pushes up, hits your target of the point of control, because once you get above that value area low, you're looking for the point of control. Higher highs on price action, lower highs on your momentum waves. There's your daily bear div, and then you look for the correction. Yeah, hopefully we don't have to play around with this, guys, but it is potentially in the cards. If we lose that golden pocket and get accepted into the previous profile, lose the golden pocket, I mean, POC, you have a daily MPOC down there, but at the end of the day, that 786 could be in the cards at the value area low. Once you lose that 786, bad news, right? I'm not just going to remain bullish forever. You lose that 786, higher lows invalidated, and breaking structure of the downside would be the next anticipated move, right? Just like we look for the breaking structures up when we break the 786, it's the same thing to the downside. So, yeah, I mean, that is what it is, right? But we're still very far away from that, so just keep that in mind as well. But just getting you guys prepared for the bigger moves. All right, let's see. Shout out to Jimmy James, said, Young Daddy Frank. It's crazy. It says, how we doing? If you get a chance, can we look at Render? Yes, I will take Render down for a request. All right, and I will check Tesla in a minute. Shout out to ADD Dad. I want to get through some alts first, and then we'll jump into Tesla. It is a stock. This is a crypto live stream. BTC pumping. All right, continuing to push up here just a little bit. Just a little bit. Watch those retracement levels. Did we get above the 786? Okay, yeah, so I would say the 786 is the next key level to watch. Put an alert there in case we do hit it. Boom. Alert. Alert, alert. Okay. So, yeah, we'll see if we hit that real quick. But let's jump into let's see. Crypto Pricey said, hey, Frankie, is there something I can hit for you? Shout out to Crypto Pricey. If you could hit the bears, that would be great. Just smack them right in the face and send this thing back up. That would be beautiful. Or slap the money flow back to the upside. That would be great. Shout out to Crypto Pricey. But, yeah, let's see. Shout out to Post. Said we never checked SYS. Yeah, we could try to. I'll write this one down as well. I'm going to try to get to as many altcoins as I possibly can. But let's go ahead and jump into. I lose track here sometimes. All right, we took a look at H-bar. Let's take a look at Render. Actually, I have Render right here. Okay, so yeah, I mean, where are we getting the rejection from, guys? Value area low. This is why I always say, you want to set your traps in the market. Not necessarily that I'm in a short on Render or anything, but like, where's that next key level of resistance? We've gotten a massive move up. 82%. I mean, maybe not massive. So depends on what you're comparing it to, but, massive compared to the stock market. But, I mean, it's crazy, guys. It's like nowhere else can you get these pushes, right? These 80% moves. It's so volatile, crypto. It's beautiful. Plenty of room, to catch a long position and even catch a piece of this move. But, where are you expecting price to gravitate to? You're looking for it to gravitate to your value area low. And I repeat this every time because I want it to stick in the Mafia's head so you guys can see this on the charts. Start pushing up. The next likely place for price to go is to get gravitated towards the previous area of bounce. We bounced off support. Once you start impulsing, you're looking to get gravitated to the value area low, which is the doorway to higher prices. However, the doorway to higher prices is always going to be resistance until proven otherwise. We're getting the pullback. No big deal at this point. We are losing the anchored VWAP, which I would probably be more inclined to look at this one. Wow, look at the tap on that. Woo! Just a little pop. Just a little pop on that VWAP. Let's go. But overall here, got the bounce, little rejection of the value area low, nothing really unexpected there. But, where do we want to hold as support? Pull some fibs here. I'll pull it from the impulse to the high. All right, so we are tapping the golden pocket anchored VWAP confluence. Dang, nice little confluence there locally. Money flow. I mean, it's all about money flow, guys. Like, as far as a longer-term trend, like, could I say, hey, we can get a bounce here? Yeah, maybe. But, again, lower highs and lower lows could be the more anticipated move based off money flow. If this money flow does not crack back into the green in a very big way, we're going to be looking for those continuations down, right? Like, we need this to crack up back up into the green in a big way, not just a little, right? Because we have been in the green here for quite some time. Right? Same thing as everything else, right? Like, 25 days, almost a month, right? Sitting in the green there. So it might be time to cool off, come into the red a little bit. But when we look at the higher time frames, this 2-day money flow is still fresh in the green, right? And if we're going to hold, I would say this is pretty much your first big level of support. We have the golden pocket anchored VWAP, which is nice confluence, but we also have the 786 sitting down here at about 343 for render. And then if I pull this all the way to the swing low here, golden pocket of that fib pull is confluent with the 786. So again, 340-ish. Yeah, I would say like 340-ish would be like a big level to watch. And then if you lose that golden pocket, your line in the sand here is going to be that 786 at 303. Just like we looked at on whatever we were looking at before. Lose this 786. Like looking to crack that, at least crack this low, right? Maybe you sweep the liquidity, but maybe you break down for a much bigger move. And at that point, your next key level of support is really going to be at the value area high here at 223. Hopefully, we don't have to deal with that. You do have key levels of support on the way down there, so just be aware of that. So first zone, sitting between 370 and 342. Break down below that 786. Simply going to pull that to the swing low, looking between 338 and 304. Huge key level of support. You do not want to lose this. I'll mark this. Please, mommy, hold me. Bada boom. There we go. Let's go. Shout out to Golden the GOAT. Let's get it. With the 50 Frankie Candles memberships. Unbelievable. Shout out to Golden, bro. The GOAT. Dropping those memberships on the Mafia. I was going to say start that golden waterfall, but it looked like it already started. If you just got a membership, drop that golden emoji. You just got access to special emojis. Should we start doing some member content? Like some member exclusive member content? That'd be cool. Like members only live streams or something like that. That'd be pretty dope. Let's go. Spam those golden emojis in the chat. Shout out to Golden. You're the GOAT, bro. Let us know. Are you on the Golden private jet? Which is, by the way, guys, there's tons of goats in the cargo area of that jet. Shout out to Golden, bro. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, the GOAT of the CandleMafia. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let us know if you're on that private jet, bro. I'm not going to lie, guys. Golden literally sent me pictures of him dropping memberships in a private jet. Not a garbage private jet, like the nice one. Crazy. Shout out to Golden. Please, me, Golden. Shout out to I Told You So. If you guys did not get a membership, you might have your settings wrong in YouTube. You have to, by default, it's turned off. You have to go into your YouTube settings and turn on gifted memberships, or you won't be able to get them. I don't know why they turned it off by default. But anyway, there we go. Golden, you are a wild man. Not today. Golden, not on the jet today. Pretty much every other day, though. Shout out to Golden. He's on the ground, guys. He's on the ground. All right, let's see. Golden is the best. Shout out to Wig589. Let's go. Absolutely, man. Golden is a special human being. I will tell you that. One of the most selfless people I've ever met. Golden Child said, no, don't do that because I'll never be able to join because Golden blocked his only child from ever winning. Shout out to Golden Child, bro. All right, let's see. Hey, shout out to Jimmy James, bro. I appreciate that super chat, man. He says, Frankie and team, I appreciate all you do and the daily streams from the Mafia. Let's go. Shout out to Jimmy James. Let's go. Show some respect to Jimmy in the chat. Jimmy, my paisan. I love it, bro. Thank you so much for that super chat. And we're here every day for you guys. And I do enjoy it as well. It's a little selfish, too. I don't want to act like, I love doing this. So I get something out of it, too. But let's see. Frank Cardone jet type. Yeah, shout out to CandleMafia's John Cena. It's the nice one. It's the big jet. It's G650 is a nice jet. Yeah, it's he's in the big boy jet. It's funny. It's like sometimes I see like influencers on private jets, and like I like planes, so like I kind of know a little bit about private jets. And it's like not that small private jets aren't cool. They are super dope. But Golden's just like he's on the cream of the crop there. I'm like unless he moves up to like a double decker like beluga, like those huge crazy planes. I don't know how much bigger the plane can get, or just on like a jumbo jet. But yeah, let's continue on here. Thank you, Golden. You're the effing man. Shout out to James. Let's go. Golden said, not my child. I abandoned him. Shout out to Golden. But let's go ahead and move on. So for render, yeah, this is what I'd be looking at on render. Watch that. Again, hopefully we don't have to deal with this, but on the deepest retracement I would look for is 303. Start losing that. Probably looking down to like the low twos. 224 would be the value area high. So watch it. And then the doorway to higher prices still remains the value area low at 428. So watch that as well. All right, so let's go ahead and move on here, and we'll take a look at SYS, and then we'll jump into Tesla. Let's see. I don't think we have a that's the Bitcoin chart. I don't believe we have a chart on this. So let me see here. I'm gonna try this. There's not. All right, so yeah, this is. Let me see if I can get some more price history if I could. Let's see. That's US. I don't know if there is any extra price action on this. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, so I'll just pull some key levels here. I'm not going to pull up everything just to save some time, but I will give you a little bit of a volume profile, man. That would... All right, so yeah, I actually do not hate this. Let me just pull this fib to get my bearing. That's garbage. I'm not going to pull the dailies. I'm going to pull the monthly MPOCs. You got two down here. Those are worth looking at. High time frame, naked points of controls. Monthly. And you also have one right above you. You almost tapped it, to be quite honest. So there's your monthly MPOCs. Let's check the weeklies real quick. Come on. There we go. All right, so no weeklies. I mean, you have a weekly down here, but it's not really confluent with anything, so I will leave that. I'll put one right here because this is confluent with the monthly. Bada boom. Weekly MPOC. And then I'll get rid of these, and I'll pull the range real quick. Boom. You got your value area high. You have your POC. You have your value area low. All right, so let's take a look here. So, I mean, to be honest with you, this is a big level of support. It's a large range, but there are a lot of levels in here. Two monthly MPOCs, point of control of the range, and the value area low. This sits between about 0.025 and 0.015. I know it's a big range, but it is a high time frame level. And at this point, right, you have your volume profile, back to the high, breakout, deviation, play around with the high, get stuck back in here. POC could be the next stop. If we continue the dump to the downside, I would say the point of control is going to be a key level to watch here at about 0.025. This whole zone, the zone that I just mentioned, right? 0.025 to 0.016. And then, maybe if we go for that full rotation of the profile, right? It's like, well, hey, this is definitely going to be support. You don't want to really lose these monthly MPOCs, but this would kind of be the biggest level of support. Now, locally, let me pull a fib here, and looking at our money flow here, come on. 4-hour money flow crossing into the red. I mean, this looks the same as it is on everything else, right? Big old money flow, green money flow wave for about 27 days, almost a month, starting to cross over into the red, right? So the idea here would be for a continuation to the downside, right? So what would I be looking at for the continuation down? Well, let's see here. I mean, you could be looking at your Fibonacci retracement. I don't know if you're going to get all the way back up there, but about 0.055. There's your full retracement of the local move. 786 sits at about almost 6 cents. Could put in a lower high there to break structure to the downside, which could continue the downtrend towards that value area low. And then you could also pull, I'm not going to pull every single one, but we don't know if you're going to reject the local fibs or if you're going to pull up into the upper fibs, right, from the full high to the low. But I would just be looking at the Fibonacci retracements pulled from all these highs, right? This one would be the last one I would watch, right? Break that 786. You'd look to break structure to the upside and push up into this weekly and monthly MPOC zone. Boom. That sits between 0.068 and 0.073. But locally, I would be looking at the Fibonacci retracement from the high to the low. You could pull to this lower high. And then in the most aggressive fashion, you would pull from this, local lower high. But, I would have to assess price action as you pushed up in here. Taking a look at, you have your 4-hour green dot, so you might be able to get a bounce here. Is that confirmed? Yeah, it's confirmed. 15-minute money flow never crossed into the green. Let's check the 8-hour real quick. Yeah, you have your VWAPs coming up here on the medium time frame. So again, you could get bounces, but I would just say, lower highs and lower lows are going to be the higher probability in my opinion based off money flow. Can it fake out? Yes, but again, this is a game of probabilities and the money flow is right more often than it's wrong. So that's what I would look for as far as SYS. So hopefully that helps you out. I forgot who asked for this, but shout out to you. All right, let's take a look at Tesla really fast. I know we don't look at stocks very often, but let's take a look. All right, let's take a look at this real quick. Okay, so we actually have looked at this not too long ago. So we have our daily profile here. We went from the low to the POC to the high, deviation above, back to the POC. Tried to break out one more time. Let's take a look at the higher time frames here. Monthly red dot is printing. Not confirmed just yet. We do have 20 hours and 59 minutes to confirm that monthly red dot. This would indicate a potential pullback here, guys. Monthly red dots, this one, did it send us to zero? No. What do? We put in a higher low and maybe a lower high. Not a higher high. But you did get a little bit of a pullback before a bounce. You didn't just instantly go to zero. But yeah, monthly red dot is printing. Weekly red dot potentially looking to print, right? VWAP rolling to the downside. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's kind of small. Take a look at the 4-day. 4-day VWAP coming down as well. 5-day VWAP also trying to come down. Nothing really to take away from the 4 and 5-day. These are, 3-day red dot printing. Let's see. Daily red dot printing. So yeah, I would say, it looks very similar to crypto, right? Daily red dot prints. Let's check the 4-hour real quick. The market type for B does behave slightly different on stocks, a little bit slower moving. But, big key levels I would watch. Value area high, 297.34. If you get stuck underneath here, you could be on your way to the POC at 245. See if you have any confluence here. Did we look at, I think we might have looked at Tesla recently. Yeah, so you already kind of got the bounce off the golden pocket. So if you lose that value area high and you can't get back out, I'd watch this support zone, more specifically the POC. But you have your golden pocket sitting here, which is technically front run. So close. So close. Technically front run, but you have the golden pocket 786 POC confluence sitting between 272.59 and 243.99. Lose that 786. Ugh. Yikes. Especially if your money flow comes out on the daily. You don't really want to lose that 786 or the POC. You're losing your 786 of the full move here, which would indicate, right, if you can't get the bounce there, it would indicate, right, lose this POC. Could be, honestly, on your way to the value area low. This would be a longer-term move, obviously, but you would at least be looking to crack this low here at about 215. Because why? Why is that, right? Well, it invalidates the idea, right? If your higher low is likely to come in on the golden pocket 786 and you break down below the 786, well, the higher low is invalidated, right? And you're going to be looking for that break of structure to the downside. We use this technique to call breaks to the upside and breaks to the downside all the time. We actually did it live on the stream on Bitcoin earlier today. So there you go. That's what I'd be looking at on Tesla. Shout out to ADD Dad. Hopefully that helps you out, brother. Yo, Catchy, that's crazy, bro. Let's see. ETH 1-hour VWAP coming up and printing a bull div. Do we have a bull div on Ethereum? Let's take a quick look at that. 1-hour bull div. Let's jump on down to the ounce hour. Oh, yes, the ounce hour. Yes. Very nice. Very nice. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, it's really the money flow, right? It doesn't mean that this can't give you a snap to the upside, But unless this money flow comes up in a super aggressive way, it still would be lower high and lower low. That would be the higher probability. I'm not saying it has to happen. It would just be the higher probability based off the chart. But, I mean, if you look at it like this, yeah, it's like you don't have it locally here, right? You have a lower low on your price action, but you also have a lower low on your momentum waves. If we had seen something like this, when you're looking for like multiple drives of divergence like this, what you want is a low, higher low, and then like another higher low. That would look really clean, right? To be like, oh my God, these are like multiple bullish divergences. Maybe you can get a huge snap to the upside, but you don't have it locally. And money flow is in the red. But doesn't mean you can't come up short term, right? Taking a look at the, again, we could push up potentially into this golden pocket 786 zone. And this would be the first kind of area where I would be careful of a lower high to come in. Not that we don't have higher levels as well, but this would be the first level I would look at. So there you go. 30-minute money flow back in the green here. 8-hour green dot is not printing. Look at that wick. Look at that wick. It would be so nice, guys. How nice would it be if this was just a fake out and we just send it to the upside? Please, for the love of God, I hope that happens. Charts aren't pointing towards that, but I would love that. I am happy for the charts to be wrong on the move to the downside and just have this thing sent to the upside. I would love that. Very rare that I'm praying for the TA not to play out, but I would love for the TA to just fake us out and send us to the upside. But from a binary perspective, money flow is coming out. So let's see. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Vegas Call. I gotta read this, bro. These jokes crack me up, bro. He says Frankie's the type of guy. So okay, I'm good. I'm glad I read that ahead of time. I can't read it because it's family friendly. But shout out to Vegas Claw. Said he's likely to pick up a specific type of person in GTA and drop them off in a safer neighborhood. Yo, Tony D. I don't know if you're in. I'm pretty sure he's in here, bro. Read that, bro. Shout out to Vegas Claw. Oh God. I was just in Vegas, like picking up people on the side of the road and bringing them to better neighborhoods. Vegas Call, you genuinely make my day with those jokes, bro. Do you think we'll have another Moontober? Well, here's the thing. When we look, right, when we look at Bitcoin, let me just take a look at this real quick. When we look at Bitcoin, where is, see if I can pull this up. I was just pulling the fib time zone. Okay, so the trend-based Fibonacci time, right? I've been saying recently that like October 17th to like October 25th is going to be a date that I'm looking at based off fib time. This does not let you know like what is going to happen at each level, but this is like, maybe I'll make a video about this to help people understand how to use this. But this essentially will call pivots, tries to call pivots in the market. It's not going to play out 100% of the time. But when we've looked at this in the past, right, the one-to-one has been the area. This was where the top, I'm trying to think of what that's setting off. BTC. Oh, it's just pushing up still. Okay. But when we look at this, right? What's going on here? There we go. So when we look at the top had come in on the one-to-one here in the past, right? Last cycle, the one-to-one was the top. This is a big level to watch. And it is just kind of crazy, right? That we have this one-to-one coming in. Oh, no. Hang on. This is not the chart. Still applies, just the wrong fib. One-to-one here in October. This is where the top came in at in the last cycle, right? So it doesn't mean that the top has to come in exactly here, but this is definitely a date that I'm paying attention to, right? And what does this do? This gives us enough time to potentially correct more, right? Like even if we get a bigger correction or maybe we get chop or, maybe we even shoot up, it's hard to say exactly what will play out, but this is going to be like, this would give us enough time to either consolidate or continue to rip, give us some time to move into September for rate cuts, and then everything kind of takes off. And then October, this just happens to be in October, right? And this will be like perfectly timed with the 4-year cycle to, again, as I've been saying, like coming up to the last stages of the bull market, right? See that final parabolic top. I'm not saying you have to come to 160. Obviously, we have some other levels here. 137K is a huge level to watch. But we have plenty of time to move around here, right? Maybe like build up a top up at these higher prices while the altcoins absolutely moon. And if the rate cuts come in September, Moontober could be a potential thing. And then, I would be very careful here, right? And just to show this, right, in the past, if I pull this same thing, trend-based fib time, right, we'll pull from the low, right, from the bear market low to the all-time high to the bottom of the bear market. You can see here, we hit that 618, massive change in momentum, bull run, baby. And then we get the 786. We start to kind of bing bong around, and where's the top come in? Directly, like almost to the day on that 1-to-1 fib. Top comes in, it's all over, right? It doesn't guarantee that has to happen, but I am going to be paying attention. And when does this happen? October, November, right? That's like when the top was building out. So I am going to be watching that October zone, and it would make sense to see moves up, in the meantime. So Moontober could be a possibility, absolutely. So we'll see. It's going to be really exciting if we get up to that level and like we're starting to top out. We see the weekly money flow coming out or high time frame money flow coming out. We could really start to look for a potential top to come in, and hopefully we get it right. But yeah, there we go. That's my thoughts on October. Let's see. Did we look at ton? I don't think we looked at ton. Let's take a look at. Did we? I think we did look at ton. Let me just double check. Shout out to Mrs. Candles. Mrs. Candles, come here. Hi. How are you? I'm doing well. I'm just hanging out with my friends here. Can I just? Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Wow. Mrs. Candles gives me the cold shoulder. I said this the other day. I think Mrs. Candles getting a little too big for her britches. She's like, my hand is popular. Get away from me. And she just goes like this. And then, of course, I sniff it. She's like, get away from me. Anyway. All right, so let's take a look at I think we have I'm on the wrong chart here. Let's take a look here. Binance, the MACD chart. That's what I would assume. Okay, so taking a look at ton here. I almost said Tau. Maybe we'll take a look at Tau as well. Yeah, I mean, biggest level you don't want to lose on ton, right? Like this is, obviously we're very far away from this at this point, but this 786 value area high confluence sitting at about 254 was key support, and it will remain key support. If we break down below that, going to be much more bearish in my opinion, looking for a bigger drop to the downside, potentially towards the point of control of the range or the value area low, which brings you down into like the 180s. But we're pretty far away from that, right? You could even potentially look at this. I don't love this pull, if I'm being honest, but you do have a pretty clean volume profile here from the high to the low. Let's go neutral. Let's go value area high, POC, value area low. So yeah, I mean, you're at resistance. You do have some bearish divergences popping up here as well into the value area high, higher highs on our price action, lower highs on our momentum waves. This is the 12-hour. Take a look at the daily. You are also looking to print a potential daily bear div. Money flow is still in the green, right? So this could give you a pullback, but until that money flow crosses into the red, I would not be expecting zero just yet, right? If I pull my fib from the low, everybody look away, I'm pulling my fib. Golden pocket, POC. This would be a big level of support. Could you potentially bounce off this? Maybe. It is your golden pocket. I'm not always interested in big bounces at a POC. I'm usually looking for the full fill of the range. But with the confluence here on the fib level, I would look for a potential bounce there. But even if you do fill that range in full, your 786 is perfectly confluent with that value area low. I love that. All right? Bada boom. These are the biggest levels to look at on ton locally. Key resistance, bear divs. If you get back into the range, you could get the drop. Golden pocket POC, 297. Value area low, 786. 297. And then the 786 value area low between 282 and 278. Once you start losing that value area low, that's where you could potentially look for a break back down. Lose this 786. At that point, idea of the higher low is invalidated, and you're looking for a crack of the low. At that point, you do not want to lose 252 because that is what could accept you into the lower range. So hopefully we stay in here. If we don't, and we impulse out of this range, where's price going to gravitate to? Into the next area of balance, which sits right here. So there you go. That's what I would look at on ton. Daily money flow in the green. 2-day money flow still in the green as well. 4-hour money flow on the way to the downside. So we'll see what happens. Will the bear divs play out? You also do have 4-hour bear divs confirmed, 5-hour bear divs confirmed, 6-hour bear div printing, 8-hour bear div looking to print. So I'm going to jump right on down to that 30-minute. So I would say for a bigger move down, what the signal I would look for is the 30-minute money flow crossover with the 8-hour red dot printing. It's not printing just yet, but that VWAP is coming down. Get that red dot. Look for that 30-minute money flow crossover. Continuation down will be likely, just like we looked at on Bitcoin recently. 30-minute money flow crossover into the red at the same time as your 8-hour red dot. What do we get? Low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Lower high? Anyway. All right, so there you go. Yo, shout out to Baby Genius. Said Mrs. Candle's Birkin bag budget is your leverage, homie. Shout out to Baby Genius. Yeah, actually, I'm not gonna lie. Mrs. Candle's not a very materialistic person. I'm very lucky, guys. Mrs. Candle's can have anything she wants, and she is just, you know what she tells me all the time? I'm not even saying this for the camera. She just says, I don't want anything. I just want a hug. I want love. I'm genuine. The luckiest thing that has ever happened to me in my life is Mrs. Candles. I genuinely mean that. I'm not trying to suck up. She doesn't even watch the show. So, and she just cold-shouldered me. But she does put up a lot with me. She gives me the time with the Mafia. This takes a lot of time. I spend all my time doing this. And Mrs. Candles is an absolute saint dealing with that. So, shout out to Mrs. Candles. I see an inverse head and shoulders on total. Maybe we can take a look at total real quick. And then we'll jump into... thank you. Shout out to Khan says he wants to see Tau. That was literally what I was thinking of, and he's been spamming it for a while. So I will take a look at Tau next. I want a hug too. Shout out to I don't even know what that says. I can't see it. Shout out to but he wants a hug too. I'll give you a hug too, bro. End of October makes sense for the top. It might align with the 2-month red dot potentially playing or potentially printing. Can you please have a look at Aave and Turbo if you get some time? I will write these down. I can't promise I'll get to every one, but I will try my best. And yeah, even if it ran into November, like with the fib time, you're not looking for like a dollar top or like an exact day top, although, you know, that 1-to-1 was the exact top, made a lot of sense. But you know, it could vary, right? A week or two, maybe a day or two, whatever it is, could vary. So, you know, you could leak into November a little bit as well. Shout out to Golden. Thank you for the super chat. He said, aw, how sweet. Shout out to Golden. Yes, it is the truth though. I'm not gonna lie. It's crazy. Mrs. I don't know. I literally lucked out. I've dated some people in my life, and man, when I found Mrs. Candles, I was like, I'm keeping you. You're nice. you're not crazy like a lot of the other ones. But anyway, let's see. Shout out to Baby Genius. Said, yeah, for real. Shout out. That takes patience on her part. Absolutely. Shout out to Baby Genius. Yes. And it does not go unnoticed by me. She is an absolute saint. Yeah, and her love language is like quality time. So she's sacrificing like really what she cares about. And it's like, it's funny because if you like materialistic things, she'd probably be out at the mall right now, but she's just hanging out. Shout out to Golden, let's go, baby. Get to those 50 Frankie Candles memberships. Come on, baby. Come on, Golden. Bro, what did we do to deserve you, bro? I don't know what we did to deserve you, man, but you are the absolute best. Start that golden waterfall in the chat. We're not talking about the shower. We're talking about the waterfall. Let's go. Spam that for our boy Golden. Thank you so much, bro. I love you to death. And, yeah, show Golden some love in the chat. Unbelievable. Frankie's ex is watching this right now. Yo, shout out to Tony D with the eyes and the lips, bro. That emoji kills me. She's like, I'm just trying to learn how to trade. You didn't have to hate on me. But anyway, let's continue on. I've had good exes in the past as well. Honestly, a majority of my exes were pretty good. I'm not going to lie. There was a couple of them that were, whew, yikes. But anyway, let's continue on here. So total inverted head and shoulders. I think I see what you're talking about. Maybe something like this. Something like that, maybe. I'll just take that random measured move here real quick. Yeah, listen. It's not super clean in my opinion. I'm not a huge pattern trader, by the way. So maybe that's like some kind of special Head and Shoulders or something. I think if that is what you're looking at, I kind of see what you're talking about. But yeah, I don't really get too caught up in the patterns, to be honest. But same thing here. 4-hour money flow crossing into the red. I don't know, guys. Like, we need a fake out. It is what it is, right? Like, I just got to call it how I see it. We need a fake out. We absolutely need a fake out. This money flow, and again, even if we don't get the fake out and we do continue down, right, this is the 4-hour, right? Like, so, you could just kind of cool off and then you come back up, right? Maybe we're looking for higher lows, higher highs. So it's not like the end of the world. But if you want to come up from where we are now for massive rips into new all-time highs, you really need a fake out on this money flow. I'm just going to say it one more time. Money flow is pointing to the downside right now. Like, retracements to the upside, lackluster pumps, lower highs and lower lows is the higher probability, in my opinion. Shout out to Tony Broaz, bro. Yeah, like a drunken Head and Shoulders or a, shout out to Tony Broaz. Total 3, retest the neckline potentially. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure exactly what time frame you're looking at. So if I don't find it, I don't want you to think that it's not there. It's just kind of hard for me from chat to like figure out exactly what you're looking at. So I don't want to give you the wrong information, so I'm just going to leave that there. But try to see if you're talking about maybe a higher time frame. Yeah, I don't know. And again, like, even if you're not looking at patterns or, it doesn't mean that whatever you're looking at won't play out. I just look at things in the perspective of volume profiles, right? Like, let's say you're looking, for example, I know this isn't the case, but like, let's just assume you're looking for like a retest of a pattern and the retest of the neckline is right here. I'm typically going to be looking at something very similar, but I'm just looking at the retest of the value area low. And very often those key levels I'm looking at are going to line up with whatever pattern you're watching anyway, which is why I never really I definitely shove my strategies down people's throats because they work. But if someone tells me, like, I don't trade patterns, but if someone says to me, like, I trade patterns, like, keep doing you. Like, I'm not going to try to, like, talk you off trading patterns, right? If it works for you, then keep doing that. Like, don't confuse things. Just keep making money doing what you're doing. But big reason for that is, like, regardless of the strategy that you're trading, right? Like, all strategies and all indicators, all trading tools are all just looking at the same information from a different perspective. So, maybe people are looking to fill a fair value gap down here, right? But what am I looking at? I'm just looking at the value area low. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, let's, I want to jump into Aave real quick. Let's take a look here. That's old. Actually didn't get the rejection there, which is interesting. But got two kind of just bing-bonging around here between the PLC and the value area low. Get above the low. PLC is the next high probability move. You don't make it above the PLC, you get the rejection, back down below the low, flip the low again, back to the PLC, and now you're on your way back down towards the low. But what I will do here, wow, this is an old fib. I'm just going to extend that over to the high, to the low. So I would say this, very simple analysis here on Aave. Golden pocket, value area low, sitting between 261.76 and the 786 is sitting at about 239. So these would be like your key fib levels, in my opinion. Right? This is from this low to the high. You lose that 786, I'd look to come take this low here at about 212. But you still have an opportunity to come down, test support, and then maybe just stay within the range. If you deviate below the range, I'm fine with that as long as you can get the bounce from the 786 and reclaim. If you lose the 786, this is what I would look for to crack this low down here. I think I'm going to leave that there. Very key levels. I mean, very clear, simple key levels. 251.68, 261.76, 786, 240. Lose that, cracking the low at 213 is what I'll be looking for. Can't guarantee it. Longer term, let's see. Let's pull this down to the April lows. At the end of the day, if we want to go for some kind of like really big retracement here, lose the low. And yeah, to be honest, actually, I'm going to put those back up, and I'm going to pull a new fib here from the low to the high. If the 786 is broken, look to take this low, and you might be able to lose this, and then maybe you could get like a nice high time frame SFP, like a high time frame SFP, sweep the low into the golden pocket, get back into the range, and then maybe you get the move. But I would say like even pushing into this golden pocket would be like, again, putting it in context, almost a 200% move to the upside. This would be a golden pocket retracement. Nothing really to worry about. It wouldn't be until we lose that 786 where I'd be looking to like, this would be the real move, right? The 786 at 161, you lose that, very bearish in my opinion, right? Because then not only are you looking to take this low, but you're also potentially coming down right? Hopefully you do that. Well, hopefully you do this, right? But if you lose that, look to push into that golden pocket, 786. This is the last level. You lose this. Pretty big drop just to take out this low. And then at that point, you're dealing with potentially getting accepted into your lower profile. That's not what we want to see. We want to see at least a hold of this. If not, hold here or hold here. So there you go. That's what I'll be looking at on AVE, or AV, as some people like to say. Pepe, yes, yeah. Shout out to I Told You So. I will take a look at Pepe. Yo, shout out to Khan. Yeah, let's take a look at Sal, bro. He's like, please, bro, please. My fingers hurt. All right, let's take a look here. Where are we at? All right, so on Tau, yeah, I mean, let's just look at this from a long-term perspective. Value area low into the POC, break above the POC. This is where you're looking for the full rotation of the high. If you are new here, volume profiles have a magnetic nature to them, and they have laws, is what I call them. There's no laws in trading. Nothing's just going to happen every time. But deviate below the low. This is where you look for longs. Get inside the value area low. Next likely place for price to go is the POC. This is the strongest magnet within the profile. Once you get above this, you could start your journey into the next high probability target, which is the value area high. What happens? You get a pretty fast move up, little bing bong around, and eventually, boop, right into the value area high. And look at the reaction, right? Like, these are not magic, right? Like, this is just how it works. Right into the value area high. That wound up being the tippy top before getting accepted back into your range. And where did we push down into after that? Well, you actually didn't get back down to the POC. But I will say, full fill of the range to the upside. We are rejecting. Got a nice little bounce off this golden pocket. Couldn't hold it. So I'll give you these local levels. I will just say longer term, though. Worst case scenario. Yeah, I would say, I wish you had better confluence on that POC 786, to be honest. Yeah, I'm going to leave it here, right? So from the impulse to the high, golden pocket holds. I would say your most important level right now for a continuation up and out of this profile, right? I'm going to take this off because we've already bounced off that macro golden pocket. I'm going to get rid of this golden pocket just to clean the chart up. I would say at this point, right, you have a low, a high, a higher low. You didn't get the higher high yet, but if you're just going to get a little retracement here, I'm going to give you these local levels. Local value area high at 377. If you can't get back out of here, I mean, you already got down to the POC, so I would say POC at 362. You lose this. Golden pocket underneath, but let me just mark these out real quick. Yeah, not the most beautiful confluence there either. Take this local one. The reason I pulled to the absolute low here is because it's a little bit more significant. I would say your biggest level to hold locally here is going to be the value area low, 786. If we get the bigger retracement, this will be something to watch. 334.13 to 324.19. And then golden pocket is an honorable mention here. But again, very similar to a lot of other things. It's like you get below that POC, you bounce off the golden pocket, like you're already accepted into this profile. You have to crack above the POC and the value area high. So with the way money flow looks right now, 8-hour money flow coming out, 4-hour money flow in the red, right? Looking very similar to everything else. If we're going to put in lower highs and lower lows, I would eventually look, if you fill this entire profile, to look down here towards the value area low, 786. And then once you lose this, it's like, well, hey, probably coming down a bit deeper. And then you can look at your larger profile, and it's like, all right, well, hey, if we lose that 786, I'm probably coming down towards that POC because we already rejected the high. This could be the journey to the point of control, right? And then potentially the low. Hopefully not, right? We're hoping, right, for the bullish case, you are kind of hoping to hold these local levels because at the end of the day, yeah, low, high, yeah, kind of hard to say. I would definitely watch these key levels, though. Do not want to lose this 786 because then it gets more and more likely that this tap of the value area high was the top, and you're going to rotate through the rest of the profile, potentially down to the POC at 252.45 and down to the value area low at 212.27. Hopefully not. You have support, but it is what it is. It is on the chart. So let me see the anchored VWAP here from the low. Ooh, nice. Anchored VWAP from the absolute low here in April has been tapped. Was confluent with that golden pocket as well. Yeah, so I would say definitely losing this POC golden pocket anchored VWAP. Probably looking down towards this level. Lose 324, much more bearish in my opinion, because you're looking to crack this low, right? Which gets you pretty close to approaching that 786 POC. So that's what I would look at on Tau. Market cipher B looks very similar to everything else, right? But on the altcoins, money flow's been in the red for quite some time. So yeah, but locally I would say 4-hour money flow, all these other medium time frame money flow looks the same. Crossover into the red could indicate lower highs and lower lows. So there you go. I'll just give one level of resistance if you're going to put in a lower high. I'll just give you, let me see here. Yeah, this might be confluent with this local profile here. Come on. Come on. Not quite. So yeah, I would just be looking. That's the full fib pulled from the high to the low locally. You could also pull it from this little lower high as well. And this would be probably more confluent with the value area low. Yeah. So this could be key resistance. If you get a push to the upside, be careful of lower highs and lower lows. Golden pocket, 786, value area low confluence between 406.75 and 421.92. And there you go. That's what we're looking at on Tau. Shout out to Wig589. It said, and the moon indicator corresponds terrifically for a Tau price launch here. Hey, shout out to Wig589. Maybe, I assume you mean that the moon phases are saying that we're going to pump. Maybe that's it. Maybe when all the other TA fails, the moon phases actually give you the move up. I used to hate on the moon phases, guys, because I was like, there's no way I would ever trade off moon phases, and I still wouldn't. But go back test that stuff. It's eerie. It's eerie. And the moon does, change human behavior, they say, right? The gravitational pull changes human behavior, and all the markets all you're looking at on these candlestick charts is human behavior, human fear, human emotions, human greed. Pretty wild. But there we go. Let's see. Can we look at Sol money flow? Yeah, sure. I don't know exactly what time frame you want to look at, but we did take a look at Sol. If you scrub back to the beginning of the stream, we covered Solana in full. Money flow looks the same as everything else. 4-hour money flow crossing into the red. Daily money flow kind of still in the green. The high time frame money flow still looks pretty good as of right now, indicating higher lows and higher highs. As we've covered so many times on the channel, that's what we're looking for with the high time frame money flow in the green. Pullbacks are okay. Higher lows and higher highs are the higher probability on the higher time frames, right? But these drops can be scary. And hopefully if you've been watching for a while, you're like, man, Frankie, have me prepared for this. We can get those pullbacks. Those red dots can pull us back. But money flow will always be king, right? Doesn't mean it has to play out, but, statistically, higher lows and higher highs are going to be more likely, regardless of where the higher low has to come in. And that's our job, right? Money flow would say higher low, higher high is likely. And our job is to find out the highest probability areas to put in those higher lows and higher highs and then assess price action as you tap into those levels. Can you put a higher low on this golden pocket for a higher high into the POC? Absolutely. But if you don't get the confirmations, right, it's probably going to be more likely that it's a lower high, lower low into your next key level. And then you assess the price action here. Can't get out of it. If you can't get the bounce there, assess the price action here, etc., etc. So there you go. Pangu. Yeah, we can take a look at Pangu. Yeah, finally this thing pulled back a little bit. This thing was absolutely exploding. I mean, what a recovery on Pangu, right? Like if you looked at this in April, guys, it was like, oh my God, this thing went to zero. Oh my God, this is crazy. And it's really funny because like a lot of people would say this chart looks really bad, which I couldn't really disagree with, but just because the chart looks bad, meaning bearish, right? It's like, oh my God, this thing has done nothing but go down. Not necessarily the time to get bearish after you've already had this massive move down. And that recovery is insane, right? Just like basically in one monthly candle. It's like, boop. Come on. I got to move it forward a little more. I wish this just printed like, come on. Well, anyway, you guys get the point. Crazy recovery on Pango. I'm not going to sit here and click this 1,000 times. Very, very nice. Boop. Smack to the upside. But what do we have here? Deviation above the value area. This is where you look for shorts. Not necessarily where you look to sell your spot bag for zero, right? But where you would be looking at this as overvalued, right? Relative to your balanced area, this is overvalued. You would look for a return back into the fair value to retest what? The POC. Where we come down to? Almost the POC. Maybe we could still come down and tap it. We do have the golden pocket here. That's what we're bouncing off of. This was the last key level of support we looked at when we looked at Pangu last time. You have your golden pocket, 786. This will be the first, right? This is somewhat local. This will be the first area to look for a potential higher low. You break out of the range, maybe a retest of the golden pocket POC, even the 786. Only thing that kind of stinks there is you're inside your volume profile. So it's like generally I am anticipating a full fill of the range. But when you have confluence on fib levels like this, you could look for bounces. But I would say like worst case scenario, I mean, this thing especially, even from, the impulse here. Come on, there we go. Right, like 486% rip to the upside. It's okay for this thing to pull back a little bit, right? So I would say like your biggest levels to look at would be the Golden Pocket 786 POC confluence, sitting between 0.034 and 0.031. You could get the technical exact levels here. I don't want to butcher them. And then if we lose that 786, you have a daily MPOC sitting just underneath. You might have some liquidity down there, but again, I am usually, when you lose the POC, especially the 786, I would naturally expect the value area low to come in. But you do have a daily MPOC here at about 0.028. But watch that value area low sitting at 0.025. I mean, deviate above the high, get back in. If you can't break out, you're looking to fill that range in full. And this would be an okay correction, in my opinion. After such a massive move to the upside, right, a pullback of 44%, in a bearish case, wouldn't be that bad. We went 400 and almost 500% from the impulse. Pretty much 500% from the impulse, right? So pullbacks, right? Price goes up and down. We got a massive move up here to the tune of about 368%, and then we got a 55% dump. Was that bearish? Sure, the pullback was bearish, but long term, what did we do? Low, high, higher low, where? On your golden pocket, higher high, right? So pulling back here would not be the worst thing in the world, right? It would honestly be somewhat expected to at least get some kind of a pullback at least. And we came in, not only did we deviate above the high, we tapped into our macro golden pocket retracement, pulled from the absolute high to the low. So there you go. Money flow, market cipher B, looking pretty much the same. Money flow coming looking across into the red, looks very similar to Bitcoin. Speaking of Bitcoin, let's go ahead and do a quick little check-in here. All right, she's attempting to hold this weekly and daily MPOC. Are we? Just pull up a clean chart here. Just want to see if we are. Okay, we're starting to crack that 786. So POC would be the next stop if we could hold above that 786. Right? This is the most local level of resistance. 786, value area low. Hold above this 786. I'd be looking up towards the POC, which is another key level of resistance. It's not until we flip this POC decisively that I would look for the full fill of the range. If we get the full fill of the range, right, let's say we get above the 786 into the POC, flip the POC up to the value area high, key levels of resistance, value area high 119,533, and up into the daily MPOC liquidity / golden pocket between 120 and 120,500. Liquidity technically runs up to about 121.5, which is the 786. Big level here, right? Like I said this before, I will be looking for potential short positions in this zone, but because of all the liquidity sitting, like if I drew this out, all that liquidity sitting above this high all the way pretty much into the 786. So, typically when you have like local liquidity, this is where you can look for like a little SFP, right? Get the push up, swing fail into the daily MPOC, close below, then you can look for the pullback. But because this liquidity runs up so high, it's a little difficult, right? Because you can get an SFP, right? And then you just keep trying to take out and squeeze out those shorts, right? And you can kind of just like squeeze out of those short positions. So it can be a difficult situation to short. But again, if this is happening, I'm okay taking some stabs at shorts because I'm holding my long from much lower. I'll take a very small loss on the shorts, and my long will be paying me out like crazy. So it's okay, right? I'm kind of covered. It would just be like looking to hedge short against my long, right, in case we do get the bigger dump. But we'll see. Key level for new all-time highs still remains $121,500 above that 786, in which case I will be targeting. Very likely, we have $122,000 MPOC, but I'm not putting a lot of emphasis on this. I would say if you break above that 786, that could be the doorway to higher prices, targeting about $125,000 to $125,272. But, guys, with all that being said, I think that's all the time I got for tonight's live stream. I said on the earlier live stream, guys, that, I'm probably going to lose my voice soon here, but I was like, we're going to do a short stream tonight, guys, because we just covered a bunch of stuff. Super fun stream earlier today on FOMC. Shout out to anybody who tuned in. But yeah, here we are, 2-hour stream. I can't do it, guys. I can't do it. I have to spend time with the Mafia every day. But with all that being said, that's all the time I got for today's live stream. Shout out to Brian. Shout out to Jesse. Shout out to Nima. Shout out to Dan. Shout out to Scott. Shout out to Steve. Shout out to I Told You So. I'm short Pepe. Stick around for the fake out. Maybe we'll take a look at Pepe. I almost missed that one. But shout out to Base Bailey. Shout out to Golden. Thank you so much for gifting so many memberships, bro. You're the absolute GOAT. I don't know what we did to deserve you, but we're sure happy we have you. And until tomorrow, guys, go check out that XRP video that we dropped earlier today if you have not already. Tony, if you could drop that link in the chat so everybody could easily get there. That's all the time I got for today's live stream. I'll see you tomorrow. Same place, same time. You know the rest. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong!
Look what's next for me, Joe. I'm gonna get that second bell. Where the f is it? They should have had them 2 bells ready. Space shine for me.
Yeah. Head up in the clouds, dog, they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test. Now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, I can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, don't know what is in me. I don't got time, I'm not giving it energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working, I'm up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
K Diggity and Phoebe, a CandleMafia love story. But guys, let's go ahead and jump in here to Pepe really quickly before we hop out of here. So we came down to retest our value area high, which is not super unexpected. Money flow looks very similar to Bitcoin. Money flow coming out on the 4-hour, money flow coming out on the 5-hour, 8-hour money flow starting to cross over into the red. So just be aware, lower highs and lower lows could be in store. But we are actually putting in and printing some 4-hour bullish divergences here. Lower lows on price action, higher lows on your momentum waves. Could get a little bounce here, right? But money flow indicates the overall trend, so I would be very careful of lower highs and lower lows. The two big areas that I would look for going to be, wow, I did not mean to draw it that perfectly, but geez. I don't want to toot my own horn, guys, but that's pretty crazy. Anyway, sitting between about, 12.20 all the way up to about 13.15. Would be the first level, right? And then the next level I would be looking at is just pulled from all the way at the high, sitting between 13.23 and 13.85. So if the lower high doesn't come in on the first fib, I would probably be looking at the second fib for a second opportunity. And unless we get that fake out on money flow, again, bull div could give you the pump up there. But if money flow is staying in the red, I would be careful of the lower highs and lower lows. Lose the value area high at 1077. This would be the doorway to lower prices, potentially targeting the POC at 802. Hopefully we don't have to deal with it. You have the support at the value area high. But that's what I'd be looking at for Pepe. Let's see if we can get a push off that 4-hour bull div. And with all that being said, that's all the time I actually have for tonight, guys. It's been live for like 5 hours today. 4 hours probably. I don't even know. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time. Go check out that XRP video. That's all I got. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong!
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy. On the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go.
At the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On a roll.